Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barracks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited to be with you for another episode, another movie review with the Black Movie Fan Club. I am your host, Tristan, and I also have my co host, Greg, Joseph, and Devin, and we're excited to be reviewing the third episode, third installment of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Big up yourself. It was dope. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Who wants to do a synopsis on it? I think Greg might be the one to do a synopsis. Let's do it quickly. Where do we leave off with these two superheroes, and where did they go?
Well, from the previous episode, it ended with them making the decision that, you know what, we have no more leads, we have nowhere to go. You know, our only option is the option we don't want to use, and that's, we have to go and see a familiar face. What's his name? Someone fill me in there.
Zemo.
Baron Zemo.
There we go. There we go. That was from. He was from. Was it Civil War?
Civil War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Civil War.
Civil War.
Yes. Yeah.
But he
Big
was
time.
created. He was created during Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big. So, here we have Sam and Bucky going to see Zemo to get some answers. But the episode starts out kind of weird. Like, for a second I thought I was watching a commercial or something and was wondering what was going on. And we get introduced to I think it's the Global Repatriation Council. And it's this fictional council set up to kind of help people who've been displaced by coming back after the blip. So that was a little weird. And then, right away, we then cut to, after that commercial, we cut to seeing the new Captain America, I guess kind of on the trail of our super soldiers and going to the spot where we saw them previously, where they were given food, shelter, and internet, and kind of shaking down the whole place, trying to find out where these guys gone. And I don't know, that scene was like a little crazy to me, because I was just like, man, like, they were trying to shake this one guy down, and he was just like saying in his language, like, I don't know where these guys are. And then, Captain America loses his temper and is like, you know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
No,
Yo,
man,
I was gonna ask about
and,
that.
and then the man hawk spit in his face. Didn't just spit, hawk spit in the man's face.
Yeah.
And the man
You
was
know
so
that took every ounce of energy not to kill him there. You know that, right?
I still remember.
felt
I've
that,
seen that in real
Devin.
life. Listen, I've seen
Yeah.
somebody get spit in their face in real life, and it's not something like it's something you get offended as a person that you just see
Oh
it.
man.
So imagine somebody actually does it to you. And and this is where, and I won't take it from you too much, Greg, but this is kind of where we're seeing the unraveling of this new Captain America, right? And sort of the blurring of the lines, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
so the
like
G, so
it's
the G,
done
the
very well.
GRC the GRC is for the whole world, right?
Yeah.
That-
So
that's my
basically for the people that
understanding,
were displaced during the blip, or
So
they came
basically,
back.
Captain America is a leader in the GRC, and he can travel throughout the world
No.
and do what he wants. It feels like a United Nations police task force or something. Because I'm just like, how is he
No.
going
Yeah.
up to Germany and just telling guys like, "Yo, take that, take that"? You know, I'm like, what? Hold on.
I think it's
Yeah.
more. I think it's more the U.S. government that's appointing him to do all this stuff. GRC is kind
So
of
how is
like
he running up? How is he running
separate
up
from
in
them.
Germany, just controlling the whole scene? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe
Yeah,
clearance
and
from the GRC. Who knows?
I think
Well, remember,
and it
it
kind of
is
speaks
America.
to like it's
Hmm.
America, like it's America, the history of America, really, like, it's like, we have interests here. All
Yeah.
right, we're showing up. What's good? We're taking
Yeah.
over. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
really how
that's
it's been,
that,
right?
that's exactly it.
Hmm.
So I think what's interesting again is that they're setting us up um, to see the slow erosion of the character, right? Of this character that's supposed to be
John
heroic,
Walker. Yeah.
do things Walker do things the right way, and then he's
Man.
going to be doing things the wrong way. We see sort of the shadows of that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So what else happens in the episode?
Well, from there, we then, after that shakedown moment, they end up arresting everybody, and then we move on to, our main characters, Bucky and Sam. They've arrived in Germany. They've arrived at the facility where
Mhm.
Zemo is, and they start to have these conversations, and Bucky pretty much convinces Sam, like, hey, you know what, let me go in by myself. Like, he doesn't like Avengers, like, I'll deal with it. And Sam, of
Mhm.
course, always cautious, but lets him do his thing. And
I was nervous
we have,
there.
Yeah.
and that, trust me, and right away, like, the first like words that come out is
Yeah,
Zemo giving the those commands to try
yeah,
and
yeah,
turn him, and I, like, right then and there, I was just like, whoa. I was
I was
like,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's
I'm
yeah.
like,
happening right
what?
now?
What?
What a
No!
jerk.
Don't do that
That was such
again.
a jerk movement to do. And then right after, and you see like, you see what's his name, Bucky's face, and he's kind of like, am I like, what is he doing? Is this going to work? There's so many things on his face, right? And then
Mhm.
you also see Zemo being like, well, it was worth a shot. I was just trying.
Yeah, yeah,
Zemo's just just a jerk,
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
jerk.
yeah. So from there, they have a little bit of a conversation, and Zemo pretty much figures out that, yes, all roads have led you to me now. So you're here
Mhm.
because you're desperate. So it
Yep.
kind of ends there, and then we kind of just get like back to Bucky and Sam being together, and then they're having a conversation that, hey, Bucky's like, hey, we got to break this guy out, and Sam's like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about? Like, absolutely not. Like, you got to do the right thing. And we get that, like, the
But
conversation, but we also get the action at the same time, where he's like, well, if we were to do it, like, we could, like, do it like this, and then
and
we
can
get the whole action of everything playing out.
let
Go
me
ahead.
just jump in here because I think it's really important that they have this scene in this episode because it does a lot of things all at once. It shows us how Zemo gets out of jail and how Bucky helps him. It sets up the fact that there's a trust issue between Sam and obviously Zemo, as well as the fact that although Bucky seems like he's going like he goes by the book, he also understands that like you also sometimes you're the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Like
Mhm.
so he
Yeah.
understands that, whereas like other like Sam seems like he still has that clear sort of like there's good people and there's bad people, and that's how it is. Whereas Bucky is
Yeah.
like, well, because I was bad at one point, and I wasn't controlling myself, and I wasn't necessarily making my own decisions, and I was considered a bad person, but I swapped. Anybody can be bad at any given time, just depending on
Mhm.
how you're plucking their strings. So there's all of these themes happening, and then on top of that, there's also this idea that like you know Zemo is not just a black and white character. He's very deep, right? So it's like
Super
what
deep.
Zemo stands for is not just evil, but he stands for like if you're making a super soldier like a Captain America, well, that means your enemy is going to have to make a better super soldier, and that means that then now you're going to have to make an army of Captain Americas, and then your enemy is going to make an army of enemies to battle Captain America, and then it's just going to implode the whole world. So for him, it's
Mhm.
not really about good or bad as much as it is about the implications and the responsibility that people that are using these powers and using this science to kind of control the world, what they're doing, and he doesn't like that, which is really complex, right? And then the other thing about it is that like he's also the linchpin that broke up the Avengers or put
Oh
them
yeah.
against himself. Then there's also the fact that he was the one that killed T'Challa's father. What is
T'Chaka.
it?
Yeah.
T'Chaka.
King T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
King
Chaka,
T'Chaka.
right? So,
I
so
like
there's all of these,
it.
there's all these layers, right? So it's not just like, and that scene speaks to all of those layers all at the same time, and I think that that's
Mhm.
fabulous writing. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that that's
Yeah.
I think.
amazing
I
Amazing.
think.
writing.
Amazing writing.
Sorry, go,
Amazing
Joe.
writing. Amazing writing and amazing callback to a lot of
Yep.
those things. And it's cool how he reminds them how he lost his family. Because I think that's the one thing that's been driving him, that drives him the whole time. The fact that
Yep.
he was this barren, he had money, he had this family, and it was all lost thanks to the acts of Ultron and the Avengers. So he
Yep.
keeps reminding everybody this, and is
I think
fueled by
he's
that,
like the
which is
ultimate. He's like the ultimate anti-hero. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I
yes,
just feel like if we look at his perspective, like if they did a show just on him, I don't
mhm,
know. I mean, if we would think he's just the enemy, you know what I'm saying? If we were
Yep.
just from his
yeah,
point, it's just because of how he goes about doing the things where we're just like, okay, this guy's got to be bad. But I don't see it. But I feel like right now,
no,
the way how they're using him is almost like a Thor Loki. Like you broke him out,
exactly,
and he's like, okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna help you a bit, but then I'm gonna go do
yeah,
something that's against you, and it's gonna be this cat and
yep,
mouse type of thing, you know? Because he doesn't look like a guy that's gonna get back in jail anytime soon, and he looks like,
yeah,
okay, I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity to escape. You know what I mean? Even
yep,
though they kind of
yep,
like hinted at it a couple of times this episode, or teased us like, where is he? Where is he? And then he would come back, kind of thing, right?
yeah,
And also just the way how they're using it, like the way how they changed his personality. It's not. Sorry about this, guys, if you can hear us in the background, but
No
it's all
worries.
good.
his personality is like changing, man. He used to it just seemed so dark before, and now it's more upbeat, cracking jokes. Man was like,
Yeah,
was he like dancing? It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's like a
Yeah.
pod
Yeah.
type of
But you know what? I think that again, because you have time to develop characters a little bit more, because remember with Civil War, you have 2 hours, right, to build a whole story and conclude that story, right? So
yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
really Civil War. He was really, even though he was the antagonist of Civil War, he was really a background character to Iron Man and
yeah,
Captain America, right? That
Hmm.
was really the sort of the struggle right there within Civil War. So I like the fact that they're kind of unpacking his story a little bit more, his family history, the fact that he's a Baron. He's basically like Tony Stark, just
yeah,
without any technology, which is like dope. I
But
love that.
we
I
didn't
love that.
even know that. We didn't. They didn't give us no hints of that in any of the
Yeah,
previous stuff. You know, so
yeah,
I
Yeah.
was like complete. I'm like, wait, is it this Bruce Wayne right now? I had no idea type
yeah.
of thing. You know, like the man has an outfit
I'm
and everything. And one thing that I love about this show is that it's like you don't know who's the bad guy right now. I swear,
yep,
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
Yeah.
this guy's on the edge. She's on the edge. Like Sharon comes in, and he's like,
yep,
what role is she playing? Like you just don't know. You know, and
yep,
I find
yeah.
that to be real cool.
yeah.
Everybody's playing within that gray area, which is pretty crazy.
Hmm.
Another cool thing about the character about Zemo was that purple mask, baby. That
That
purple
Yeah.
mask is
mask.
dope. Yeah, yeah, that's dope. That's
Yo,
dope.
because that's straight out the comic books. The purple mask, the fur coat, straight out the comics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I
So
you look
love
let's
like
how
a
talk.
G
I love
still.
how they
So let's talk about a little
yeah.
bit about where they go. So obviously they break out Zemo. They're like, okay,
Hmm.
Zemo's like, we have to go to this island. And Sam says something kind of funny. He says, "Is it like Skull Island or whatever?" And I thought it was funny just because this weekend is the opening weekend of Godzilla versus Kong, and Kong
Hmm.
actually lives on
Skull
Skull
Island.
Island. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of
Yeah.
a cool
Saying
little Easter
Kevin
egg.
Feige threw that in there, so Easter egg that.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Hey.
Kevin Kevin Feige is about to buy Warner Brothers, baby.
Right? Oh man, he's rich enough to do that. Why the
Listen,
shit?
listen. So what happens there? What's the significance of this island? And why do they have to go there?
Okay, Mandrapur. They go there because that's where they could find the power broker. So
Hmm.
supposedly they could find the power broker there, and any one of his associates. So they go to Mandrapur. They're given Zemo gives them covers. So basically, what ends up happening is that Winter Soldier, or he gives Bucky the cover of Winter Soldier again. You know what I mean? Bucky has to pretend that he's the old Bucky. You know what I mean? Brainwashed, psycho killer, and then I think Sam had to take the cover of a notorious mobster named Tiger, Mr. Tiger. I think is it. That's
Yeah,
what his name was. So yeah, they all
Basically
end up going to the
A
cover. Yeah,
Nigerian business like R&B singer,
something like
basically like
that.
an Afrobeat Nigerian singer. That's
Yeah, yeah, because he's dressed like one, right?
exactly.
Yeah, and then yeah, they enter this party. They approach, I believe, at the one. I think one scene that I found interesting was when Sam and his guys, as Mr. Tiger, he's taking shots with one of the bartenders there. He cuts open that snake, right? And I think it was a snake heart or something like that he puts in the drink.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. And then like Sam goes to take the shot, and he's like struggling to do it. But yet you see the bartender being like, "Wait a minute, something's off about this guy," because the real Mr.
Yeah.
Tiger would drink it straight up. Like something's off, and I
Yeah.
was on the edge of my seat, being like, "Oh
Yeah,
crap,
he
is he
but
gonna catch
Sam
him
did,
now?"
he did a good acting job in that scene.
Yeah, really go
listen,
back and job in
Sam,
that scene.
Sam, Sam in this episode was the weakest link for so many different, so
Yo,
many different moments.
the problem is that he's not super strong. I don't know how trained he is in combat. It's like, yo, he needs some nanotech, so he has some like he has a wristwatch of his wings or something. Because when
Yeah,
Yeah,
fight broke out, it was like I'm like this guy can't handle himself. You know what I mean?
yeah.
it's so true. It's so true. But let's talk about that. So they get to not the power broker, but they get to actually before even that. Bucky has an amazing action scene, although it was super dark, and I had to
Yes.
like brighten up my TV screen. Bucky has this amazing action scene where he's basically acting like he's Winter Soldier because all of these people in this sort of pirate town or
Mm-hmm.
pirate club are testing him and
Manzapur.
testing to see Manzapur.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool scene to kind of
Yeah.
really to remind everybody how good Bucky is. Bucky is like a trained assassin, and he can kill
Mm-hmm.
anybody he wants. You know what I mean? And then
Yo,
we go to who's that character British lady? Because everybody evil has to be British in this show.
Right? Hold on, I'll look her up.
yo, that's
Is
one of
that
my things. One of my gripes with this with the Winter Soldier is that when we watch the movie The Winter Soldier, Bucky is yo, what I mean when he comes on the screen, I'm bummy. I'm scared. Like I'm like, what's this guy gonna do? It's almost like the
yeah
Joker in Dark Knight. It's like you just don't know
yeah
what's gonna happen, type of thing.
yeah
And then after when now that he's Bucky and he's not really the Winter Soldier, he's too soft.
Shelby. Yeah.
You know, he's too
Yeah.
soft. But this scene like brought that back, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
how I need
yeah
him. He can be a good guy, but just be you got to be a bit ruthless, you know?
yeah. But you can't.
Yeah.
But you
Gotta
can't have
turn on
both.
that killer
He was a
instinct.
he was a trained assassin with no other mental capacity other than to obey what the directive. So if they said kill that person, eliminate this person, he was going to do that and function robotically. But once he's Bucky, he thinks about, oh, that's a person, that's still somebody. Like, yes, he's gonna defend himself, but he's not gonna automatically just kill a person in cold blood, right?
How do you guys
So
feel
I,
about it? Do you like that? Do you like the two different, like completely different personalities where it's like one guy, I'm like, is this guy even gonna win in a battle? And the other guy is just like he's gonna slaughter everyone.
yeah,
Hmm.
I
I like
honestly,
it. I mean, I
I
yeah,
don't
like that
mind.
there's that difference, right? Like, you know, it
yeah,
shows the complete contrast that, you know, he has these like two completely different sides. So,
yeah.
future wise, I feel like, I don't think we've seen the last of the Winter Soldier. Like I think that something's gonna happen because Marvel's playing the long game, right? So I don't think we're
Oh
just gonna
yeah.
have the Winter Soldier as a good guy for the next 10 years. I don't think so.
Well,
So I mean
well,
that that could maybe be a whole different conversation, but
I think I agree with you, Greg, and I think that you know what I think the best thing that we can do is hope that with all of these sort of shadows of like Zemo and other characters that we're going to get to, that we see a robust sort of like extension to, because I don't feel like 6 episodes is enough for the adventures and the things that they can do. I mean, they don't have
oh
to even
yeah,
focus on the super
Needed to
soldier
be
serum.
8.
They can, yeah, they need to be 8, but they could even like go into season 2 or 3 and talk about other enemies and other ways that they can collab
Well,
with other sub heroes. Sorry, go ahead.
well. They did say. I remember reading that they do plan on doing a season 2
Oh
for this
yeah.
show particularly.
Oh,
oh
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
wow,
watch it for sure.
okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
So if it's gonna
So
be it's gonna have a different title, but there's gonna be a season. Hopefully, there's gonna be a season 2, which
so
yeah, which I'm super
let
excited for.
let's talk a little bit about what they find
Who
out. So
the
obviously So they're in this
So wait,
meeting with
hold on,
this.
hold on, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, hold
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Before you get to that, I just wanted to throw
Mhm.
in an Easter egg. So you see where they show up at this bar, and Sam looks up, and he's like, they show the sign, and it's the
Mhm.
Princess Bar. And
Yeah.
this Easter egg is just so crazy from what Marvel does. Like, and people don't
Yep.
even realize. And honestly, this whole episode needs a rewatch because I'm sure there's so many little things that in those like split
Hmm.
second cuts that were missed. But like the Princess Bar is from Marvel Comics Presents #1 from
Yep.
1988, and
Yep. Yep. Yep.
like that's such a little like unknown like who cares what bar they walk into,
But
right?
Greg,
But they
Yeah.
have this plethora of content that is just like a treasure trove of
but
history,
Greg,
and it's
Greg,
just
Greg, Greg.
like what the heck. Go ahead, Joe, take it
But
away.
who worked in that bar, right?
I want to
You know who
say
worked in that bar.
is it everyone's favorite X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
He
Yeah.
my
works in
Definitely.
there.
god.
Yeah.
I knew that he would. I heard that he always visited. But what do you mean? Like Wolverine worked there?
So back in the 80s, back in like late 80s, when Wolverine first had Marvel Comics Presents, and then Wolverine had his own series. His first thing, kind of taking a break from the X-Men, he ended up journeying the Mandrapore. And when he was
Hmm.
in Mandrapore, he went by the name of Patch. So he had an eye patch, leather jacket, leather suit, and everything. And he would work at the Princess Bar. As kind of like, I think that
So
was kind
Oh
of like his
yeah.
yeah.
cover. Yeah,
So
So that's
okay.
like a deep cut, man.
Yeah. I
Deep
it's a
wouldn't have known
cut.
really
that. I
deep
wouldn't.
cut.
I wouldn't
I
have
didn't
known
even
that at
catch that.
all. But
Yeah.
so how do we feel about Sam's sister calling in the middle of a brokering deal, and Sam basically blew everybody's cover.
I
What
was
were
at
you
the
guys
edge of my
thinking
That
of
was
that?
seat.
upsetting. That was upsetting.
Yeah, man.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, like
I
how
just
you going into this place with your phone on?
It's not even that. It's like okay, even if she called and the lady Selby or whatever her name was like, yo,
Mhm.
answer and put her on speaker. Okay, he could have been like, yo, who's this? Sarah? Yo, let me call you back. And just ended the conversation. Why did he have
Yeah,
to like continue it on for? I don't understand that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was weird. It was so weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean.
wait,
I
but
mean.
Joe, were you gonna tell us who the person is that they went to go meet?
Oh, it was Selby. It was Selby. Yeah, like what Devin
Okay.
mentioned her name. It was Selby. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
I heard in
Okay.
the
yeah.
comics that it's actually it's not a person or something. It's like a AI, a robot or something like that. Do you know? Is
What
that true or
the
is
power broker?
the person's no the character Selby?
Mm.
I don't know if it's an actual person in the comics. That's what I heard in
I
someone
wouldn't
else's
be. I wouldn't
review.
be surprised. I wouldn't be
I have
surprised.
to look it up.
But let's talk a little bit about how so basically she gets shot, right? And
Yeah.
Hmm.
she gets smoked. They run out of this meeting, and then they bump into who?
Sharon Carter,
Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
aka
So
Agent 13.
Agent 13, and she
Yeah, in the
is
comics.
not as
Yeah.
sweet and as not as nice as I remember her. She's very jaded because she's still on the run. She's still on the
Hmm.
run
Yeah.
after all of this, right? She's still
Yeah.
Which is
running
a long
from,
time.
yeah, which is a
Yeah.
Holding
long
Cap's
time. Like,
shield
I mean,
and still.
let's put it this way: Falcon,
Yeah.
Black Panther, all these people were gone for 5 years. She was still running her behind away because she's gonna get extradited back to the United States for stealing Cap's shield and Falcon's wings, right? So
Hmm.
it just shows you like there's so many layers to like people's storylines, but essentially she saves Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then they start talking about basically what she's been doing for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
and then they figure,
Hmm.
okay, they need to find this scientist, right? Because Selby says, oh, there's a scientist that developed the super serum, and they need to find the scientist. And Agent 13 says, okay, I think I know where we can find this scientist, right? How did you guys feel about that? How that scene played out, and like how we're kind of, because I felt like it cuts from there and then it goes to like, oh, get dressed, and then it's just some partying sequence. What did you guys think about that?
Huh?
Pacing, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it was
Yeah.
needed. Like, it showed her cover. Like that was her whole
Yeah,
thing. Like she's an art dealer. She's an art
I
dealer,
guess she I
right?
guess she
So
gave in. She gave in pretty fast. It was just like 1 second
yeah,
she wants to kill Zemo, then it's like okay, I'm gonna spare him. But then she also says like this is not over. Like I'm gonna get you after
yeah,
kind of thing, right? And
mhm.
yeah,
then and then all of a sudden it's like her and Sam are talking about, you know, basically like what's Bucky got free. Bucky's free. He used to be like an assassin. Definitely, you can get free. Let me talk to them for you. And she's like, I don't take
Mhm.
charity. And then it's like right after that, he's like Sam's just like, okay, let's just make a deal. If we do this, if you help us, I'll get you like pardoned. And it's like you don't even have that
Yeah.
authority. That's the first thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
and then she's just like, okay. So that was kind of just like it was real quick. But again,
yeah,
I guess
But
pacing and just terms of you can't you can't spend hours telling every story, right?
yep.
yeah, but I think Sam
Yeah.
does have that authority now. Like if you're like
Sam can't
one
even
of the
get a
many
house,
people
man.
that say,
That he can't get a
true,
loan to
but
buy his
however, he
boat.
still
What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about?
he still saved the world. Like he still saved the world, helped stop it, get everybody back, and vanquish Thanos' forces. So he has some authority, I guess, but
You gotta put
I
that
don't
on a
know,
resume.
Well,
right?
listen. What did we learn about this particular scientist? First of all, what kind of music was he playing? Because I don't even know what kind of music that was.
It was like
Yeah.
something from like the 50s or 60s or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, we discovered that he had gotten his hands on he was able to recreate the super soldier serum from
Hmm.
said test subject, which is Isaiah Bradley from the last episode.
Hmm.
And then from there he was able to duplicate it. I think he was able to sell it to he ended up selling it to Hydra. Is
Yes,
that what
he did.
happened? Yeah, he ended up selling it to Hydra, and then the Flag
Oh, did you
Smashers
say
ended up
right,
getting a
right,
hold of it.
right before that? Sorry, I may have
Yeah,
missed what you said, but right
yeah.
before he sold it to, no, was this after? I don't know if you got there yet, but when he got blipped
Hmm.
away, right?
He got blipped away.
Yes,
Yeah,
he,
the
he got
thing. Yeah, he got
in
blipped
the
away
middle in
as
the
he was
middle of his
working on
stuff.
it. Yeah.
That
Hmm.
was cool. I
So I
like the way
think,
how and to show how the blip affects different people. I thought that was cool.
yeah, I love that. I love that whole aspect from like this show and even WandaVision, how the blip being blipped away and then blipped back has kind of
Yeah,
like shaken the world
And
even for
essentially what
further and
happens
I
is
swear
further.
they just need a show on that.
Yeah,
well the thing
Sorry
I
about
like
I'd
is
that.
watch
that
it.
again no, it's all good. He ends up the scientist ends up saying that he came back from the blip and then all the funding was gone for it, and basically the
Yeah.
power broker wanted to fund his research, and he was able to
Hmm.
isolate just the super soldier gene, the way he describes it as a very efficient, light, and non intrusive, I guess, serum. And he made like what 12 or 8 samples or something like
I
that,
think he said,
vials.
didn't he say like
No,
20?
20.
Oh, 20.
Made
Sorry,
20.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 vials.
Yeah.
And those were those same 20 that were stolen by the super soldiers that have them right now,
The
which is
Flag
kind of
Smashers.
which
Yeah.
is
Mia,
yeah,
can you turn that off, please?
which is really
Somebody
kind
turn
of
it off.
which is I thought was really interesting. I like that. And then Zemo kills him. Like,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was I thought this guy was gonna be like, pivotal. Like, okay, we gotta, secure this guy and hold him for, some future story, but nah, just boom,
Nah.
gone.
Off the.
Why? Why do you think he was killed?
well, but Zemo,
Zemo's
from the
up to
very
something.
start of the episode, his motivations are clear. He thinks that nobody should have that type of power, um, and
Mm,
knowledge to be able to recreate that serum, because for him the serum represents a fatal
Yeah.
flaw. We're not Humanity is undeserving of having that amount of power, and with that
Hmm.
power creates more powerful enemies, and then it just keeps on going. The cycle keeps on going.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
vicious
that's sort
cycle.
of yeah, that's
Yeah.
sort of Zemo's motive, right?
That
Is like he wants to
that's actually a
erase
callback.
all that.
Is what you
When
said
he
when
killed
you
those
said that
Winter
right there.
Soldiers,
That's
right?
Yeah, it's actually a callback to Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that conversation that Vision had with the rest of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know,
Mhm.
after
Yep.
they announced the Accords, and then Vision was like, you know, since the appearance of Iron Man, the exponential threats have doubled.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So every time, you
The,
know,
the,
there's a
the
new hero, there's always going to be a few more villains to come out that will come out of the woodwork to challenge that, right? Which will create more problems. So it's cool how that
I
was
think
revisited in this
Thor
episode.
also Thor mentioned that too, and he's like, your actual existence tells the rest of the universe that you guys are ready for a higher level of war.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is
yes,
kind of
yes,
crazy.
yes. Yeah,
So then, another fighting action scene ensues because all these assassins are trying to kill Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I
yeah,
thought that this action scene was actually quite entertaining because it showed how skilled Agent 13 was. Although
yeah,
she's just a regular normal powered woman, she was
yeah.
taking down a whole bunch of men, a whole bunch of guys. Now, some
We
things I
saw
was like,
some of that
okay,
shield
sure,
training, like
yeah, but
we
it made her
saw a
look
Yo,
lot of
this
that.
had to have
badass,
been
and
the
I liked it.
darkest. This was the darkest moment in Marvel history, I think, besides the blip. She was
Yeah,
You
straight like headshots, yo, John Wick
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
My kids are
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at
Knives
me like,
thrown.
yo, dad,
Boom,
what
boom.
is this Disney stuff?
Yeah.
It's true. It's true though. It's true though. It's true though. So I mean, after that, what happens after that? We have a little bit of a scene in terms of getting to know the what is it, the flag snatchers or smashers a little bit more in terms of
Yeah,
Snatchers.
their humanity. But then after
yeah,
that, really we just get one other cutscene of like Sam and Vimo, right? And
Zemo.
the Winter Soldier Bucky. Where were they
yeah.
going again? They were walking to somewhere. They walked to some place in like Germany or Finland or somewhere. I don't know, somewhere in
Latvia.
Europe. Latvia, of course,
Latvia.
yes. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, where
Latvia.
were they going? Sorry.
I don't even remember where they're going or why they're going there. But I do remember what
They were going
happens
there
where.
to,
Go ahead.
from what we're reading here, they were going there to look for Carly,
Okay,
the
yeah.
head flag smasher.
Yes, the
Okay.
Yeah,
redhead
Carly
girl.
Morgenthau.
So
So they're
they're
looking for
trying to
her,
find her.
and yeah, and then I think that's when Bucky's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go for a
No,
walk. I'm
oh,
gonna go for a walk." Oh no,
let me say
are
this
we
one
going too
thing
far?
about
Yeah.
one thing I want to say about Bucky, not Bucky, but about the flag smashers. There's one key thing that happens in this episode that I thought was critical to their character development. So we have a conversation with the top two sort of flag smashers. They're talking about
Hmm.
what they want to do after they free the world. One person wants to teach, the other person wants to do something else, and they're talking back and forth. And there's this real sort of humanity to who they are and their motivations. Then when we
Hmm.
get back to them, we cut back to them. They're stealing all of these resources in Latvia of like food and all this other stuff that they're not using. Right, these soldiers and these different governments aren't using. They're just hoarding for themselves. And then the flag smashers actually blow up the building with people in it. So we
Yeah, I was
now
Yeah,
see
So
them.
shocked.
dark. So
that
We
was
dark.
see.
crazy.
You see what I'm saying? So and it goes back to like what Devin was saying, like we don't know
Yeah,
who's really the bad guy, right? So
yeah.
anyways, I thought that was interesting. Go ahead, Joe, and in terms of concluding
No,
what happens, what's the
it
big
was
reveal?
sorry, quickly what
Yeah,
you were saying.
yeah.
Even her
Hmm.
partner was like looking at her like there was people
What?
in there. Like he was
Yeah.
even shocked.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's why I'm like as a member of the audience, I'm like, what? I don't understand. You're talking about being a teacher. Maybe you can go back and teach and blah blah blah, and then you just like killing people that aren't even fighting you. It was just weird.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
It
think
was
that
it wasn't
Almost
the
weird
felt
to
out of
me.
character.
It wasn't weird for me at all because I feel like once you go the lines down the lines of like anarchist and doing whatever it takes to get your message and your cause across, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
injecting yourself with a super serum or it's stealing stuff from people or beating up one person to get something else, the ends
Mhm.
justify the means to you. So now you
Mhm.
Mhm.
become the same villain that you're fighting against. You become the
Yeah,
person that doesn't look at people as human beings, but looks at them as disposable because they're not for your cause, right? So the very same things and the very same feelings that you have up against the government that looks at everybody as a number and doesn't care when people die and doesn't treat anybody the same way. Now you're doing the same thing. So it shows you that like everybody in their own journey and in their own story, they are their own hero. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody looks at their story and says, "Oh, I'm the villain of my story." Everybody looks at themselves as the hero of their story, even the villain, right? So
Yeah.
so it
Whether
just
good or
depends on
bad.
what
Yeah.
perspective you are, right? It's
I,
really
I
really
I
cool
agree with
writing.
that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. My only thing is that why I say that I feel like she's a bit out of character is because right before that she's talking about being a teacher. I feel like
Yeah,
if you were like in the
Yeah.
army, if you were in the army and then you did something like that, I'd be like, okay, well that you used to do stuff like that, so it's kind of connected. But it's like you want to be a teacher and then boom, you just like that just seems so like far apart, right?
Also,
Yeah.
also coupled with the fact that one like a parental figure, a close parental figure of hers died,
yeah,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So she's kind of fueled by that whole
yeah.
thing.
that's probably
On
why.
top of that, so the grief and all that stuff they could do so much to they could change a person so much. We saw it in WandaVision with Wanda, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah.
Well, listen, man. I think this episode was great, but I feel like Joseph, you need to hit the people with that heat, with that last
The
minute
Okay.
ending.
surprise that we get at the
Okay.
ending.
So our trio decide, okay, you know what, we got to go to Latvia and look for the head of the Flag Smashers, which is Carly. So they're in Latvia. They go up to this building. I believe there's a friend of Zemo's that he
Hmm.
knows,
Mhm.
and then I think Bucky was like, you know what, you guys go ahead. I'm just gonna walk away for a bit, okay? I'm gonna walk away and do my own and just go and just clear my head. And then as he's doing that, he's walking around and he's fighting these bees. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, where have I seen these from?
Yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Okay, he finds one bead, then he finds another one, and then another, and then he looks around, doesn't see anybody, looks again, and then boom, we get that theme music, that doot, 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 and then we see one of the Dora Milaje. I love that. That was like
Yeah.
I did
that's like
not
one of my favorite
yield.
parts of the movie. Yeah. Oh
Listen,
man,
listen.
it was cool to see Io. I would have loved to see Okoye instead, but
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
that,
Io,
but
yeah,
that's also a lot more dollars because
Oh
she's a
yeah.
writer,
yeah.
producer, actress, like she's serious,
That's it.
and in
That's it.
Walking Dead and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So man, so all of these things are happening. There's things that what why is she following them? Is she
Because she
going to
wants
try
Zemo.
and kill Zemo, right? Or
Yeah.
Zemo or Vimo? I forgot. Zemo?
Zemo.
Zemo.
Zemo?
Zemo.
Zemo.
Yeah. Is she
Yeah.
going to try and kill Zemo because Zemo killed their king? Like
Yeah.
all of these things are happening. Bucky is in the between, like trying to like protect Zemo, but not really on Zemo's side because Zemo, at the
Yeah.
first chance he gets, will try and screw up and bring back the Winter Soldier. So
Which
there's
is why
all
he
these
called
different
Io. Yeah.
themes. Yeah, so there's all these things that are happening. I can't wait until episode 4. What do you guys think? And what are your final thoughts on episode 3? And what's your rating of in terms of fists? How many fists up in
What's
the
the,
air do we give it?
what's those balls that he was fighting? What do
The
they do again?
Tracking.
Koyo beads. Koyo beads. So when they're used to heal people, or stabilize them. They create holograms. They're kind of like, I'd say
So
they're
why
like
why do you
Remember
think that
that
iPhones,
he
from
almost like
Black.
why do you think
iPhones.
she was why was she placing them in different spots? Like I didn't
Tracking
understand
beacons.
that part.
Tracking to track them.
Tracking, yeah, to track them.
Yeah, to marker them.
The marker, yeah. So they had their multi-purpose like devices. Like they do all sorts of
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, healing, tracking devices. They pull up HUDs slash heads up displays. It's crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's
I like the episode. Honestly, I would probably it's not my favorite one so far. I thought
mhm.
I liked I there wasn't enough action in it for me to give it like a 5 out of 5. I'll
Hmm.
probably give it like a 4. I'll probably give it a 4.
Four
Maybe
fists.
maybe
All right.
3.75.
Wow,
Three
that's crazy.
3.75
Oh
fists for
man.
Devin. What about you, Greg?
Man, that's crazy because that's the exact number that I was thinking. Not no lie. I was like, man,
Man, you guys
3.7,
are
but I'm
so
like,
harsh.
nah, I don't wanna get into like,
Oh
all
no.
these like decimal points. Like forget that. But no, I thought it was a good episode. I got really hyped when they went to Madripoor. Before these things come out, you hear all the rumors and whatever. And I usually
Hmm.
just leave it all aside. I'm just gonna, whatever I see is whatever I see. And like I was really hyped when I saw Madripoor because they're giving the hints are there and like stuff is coming and they're just
It's
while they're telling
confirmation.
this story, yeah, it's confirmation while they're building the story like right in front of us. There's this whole thing that they're starting to just build in the background. I wouldn't be surprised if there were even like hints of people in the background if you rewatch and like look at all the scenes of Madripoor. Like I'm gonna have to do that deep dive, but yeah, no,
Where
the
is
episode.
Madripoor?
Madripoor's in
uh
Asia. I think South Asia, Southeast
Yeah,
Asia. Yeah,
like it's a fictional city, of course. Like so, it's
yeah,
in Southeast Asia. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But
So
in terms of Fist, like I would give it a 4. Like it was still very interesting. Had the action, had the mystery, had the story. Like I was all for it. So 4 out of 5 Fists.
okay, Joseph, what's your fist and what's your
Man,
thoughts?
I don't want to be too biased. Like I loved everything about this show. I love everything about the show. I love everything about this episode. Like, the callback to Mandrapur, that purple mask that Zemo had. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm like, finally we get Zemo in his full form. Like that one scene where he's shooting down dudes with like with the purple mask on.
Yep.
What else is there? Man, Sharon Carter was awesome. I love
Yep.
Yeah,
seeing,
yeah,
I love that you guys finally are starting to see the real John Walker. Like in those
yeah.
two
Yeah.
scenes where he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And like this is stuff straight out the comic books, straight out the comic books.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell
Wow.
you more, but no, I loved everything about it.
So how many
I
fists,
love
bro? How many fists?
how many fists? Okay, how many fists? Okay, we're going uh we're going 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. I
Okay.
I I
Yeah.
I really like this episode. I thought it
Yeah.
was a great example of how and why Marvel's at the top of their game. Disney's at the top of their game. Kevin Feige's at the top of their game. They gave us 5 like C D level characters and literally
Mhm.
made all of them interesting, from
Yeah.
Zemo to Winter Soldier to Falcon to Agent 13, to who else? The young lady from Wakanda. Like they're just bringing in characters that like were just ancillary, like outside characters that we didn't really care about within sort of like the Infinity War saga, and now they're making stories with them, and it's phenomenal. I really love it. So I would give this episode, and the action was good. It was different. It wasn't the same, but each episode is giving us different types of action scenes. This was more hand to hand
Yeah.
action scenes, more shoot 'em
Mhm.
up. I
More
loved it. I thought it
gritty.
was great. I loved the scenes, especially at night. It was amazing the way things were lit. Everything was just really really cool about this episode.
Mhm.
I'll give it a four fists out of 5 for sure. I think that's definitely dope. And outside of that, I think we had a great time. I don't know about you guys. I had a great time watching this
Yeah.
episode. I can't wait for episode
Yeah.
4, and I can't wait to
Mhm.
hear your thoughts. We can't wait to hear your thoughts and you see your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is the Black Movie Fan Club YouTube channel. We are doing reviews on Captain America, on Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes. We are doing reviews on the next up is Kong versus Godzilla. So look out for that.
Mhm.
And thank you for watching. Stay creative, stay blessed, and stay focused. Peace.
Peace
Peace,
out.
peace.